if I was Floyd and he was me,
Yeah.
he wouldn't never have to fight again because that exhibition shit,
Yeah.
as me being his little brother, hey, little bro, we finna do 10 rounds and we both gonna get 100+ million for it.
Right.
And we ain't never got to box again. Well,
Right.
well, I already been getting these bets, but now it's time for you to get your just due.
Right.
And
Yo, you know the deal. We back again. We never slacking. Word 'em up. Ladies and guys, whether if you drunk or you high, it's time to pay respects to the illest man alive. If you think you got a point, he'll shrink you down to size. And from there it's downhill like a slinky or a slide. Open your eyes, got a deep connection with the rise, so you might see them jump in whenever they go live. Peep it, this channel blowing up now, it's not a secret. With tons of exclusive interviews to listen to. Them other channels I hate, but yo, they missing clues. They start narratives, sip the goose and twist the truth. It don't take a rocket scientist to get the proof. Just click the live at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But when you chime in, make sure you keep it kind. But if cowards want to debate, then it's feasting time. My man Jusdue shine busy all the time. Grind 24/7, 365. Videos he might have 365. My rhyme sick, they make you do a 365. You get a rich if you think you fit to survive. It's Jusdueboxing, time to click the live. Ain't no beginners, if you soft, you ain't down to ride. I crush you, respect too, it's Jusdue. He got the illest boxing show on the internet. The boy been a threat and he ain't even had dinner yet. Word 'em up. Yeah. You know what time it is. $4 p.m. Eastern. Click the link.
My bad. Damn. What's good? What's good? Shout out to the fam. How y'all feeling? We back to give, a new guest, a special guest. My guy, Ofacio, the sniper, Falcon, his Jusdue, man. Let me bring him on up. What's going on, champ? How you feeling?
How you doing, bro? How you doing? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Loud and clear.
How you doing, bro?
How you doing, bro? How's the new year treating you, man?
Everything's great. Everything's great so far. And you?
So I like to hear. I know you ain't got too much time, so I'm gonna try to, keep it, not keep it too long. But I just wanted to, give us a little introduction of yourself. I see that you grew up in the Bronx, New York.
Yes,
what was
sir.
that like?
Like every other, people say, people like to tell, either it was false narratives about where they live from, but I'm gonna just keep it real. Like the Bronx isn't really that bad. You just got to stay out the way, bro. I just stay out the way, honestly. Like I'm always in my own lane, so really, it wasn't even that big of a, trauma.
Right, and you box, right?
Yeah.
And as a young kid, was it any other sports that you took a liking to?
I mean, I used to play, like, I'm very athletic. I play all types of sports, but boxing was like something that, I stuck with. I used to play basketball. I used to play like football.
Right.
But boxing was like what I stuck with.
And the reason I asked that because you fit in a very small percentage of people that box. Not everybody getting in that boxing ring.
Facts.
If you, like you said, you were athletic. You could have played probably a multitude of different sports. But why boxing? Because every other sport you could play. You can't play boxing. Why you chose boxing? For
a couple of reasons. One reason was because like it's all on you. I used to play basketball and I used to play with a couple people, and it's like if you suck or you like if you make a mistake during the court or something, then I have to pay for it where the whole team pays for it. Right. But in boxing, it's like when I'm in the ring, it's me and the other guys. So whatever I do is what matters. You know what I'm saying? So that was one reason. The second reason was because me and my pops, we got into it together, and that was like the way that we bonded. So that was another reason why I got into boxing.
Dope. And that just lead me to my next question. So I was going to ask you who introduced you to the sport. So I'm assuming it's your father that got you into the sport.
Yeah, my father introduced me to the sport. He was an amateur boxer before, and then at first he wasn't training me. I was training with a guy named Cuba. He was at Pop's boxing gym when I first started boxing.
Right.
And then my father came to the gym one day. I remember he told him not to let me spar one of the kids that had been there for the longest.
Wow.
The kid was boxing since he was like 6, 7 years old because my father was afraid the guy would beat me up.
Right.
And then one day when my father wasn't there, he told me, like, yo, you're going to spar him. I ended up sparring him and beating him up. And then my father didn't believe it until one day he came in and then he said, yo, we're sparring him again so you could see. And then I sparred him that day and then I beat him up again. And then my father ended up taking over in the corner. Wow. And ever since then, it's just been me and him.
Right.
Yeah.
You had to show Pops, you had them hands.
Yeah, exactly. So respect, bro. I mean, but it's normally like that. I usually hear that story a lot. Like parents don't want their kids to box. And I understand why it's a dangerous sport, but like people don't got talent that I have. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, true indeed. And again, how old were you around that time? Like when did
I was
you
like, I started boxing. I've been around boxing since I was young, bro, like 6, 7 years old. When I officially started boxing, because at the time my mother and my father never took me serious. I was a kid. They never really wanted me to box, but I was always in the gym around fighters. Right. I really started boxing and competing when I was 13, but I've been around boxing since like 6, 7 years old.
Oh, wow, that's dope. So at 13, is that the age where you say, look, this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to take
funny because when my father brought me to my father didn't want to bring me to the gym up to that age. And so one day I remember I was in the living room and I asked my father, I used to ask him every day, like, yo, bring me to the gym. I used to tell my mom, tell him to bring me to the gym. I want to start boxing. He used to be like, yeah, tomorrow, always brushing me off. Until one day I asked him, he said the same thing and I got mad and I was like, yo, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. That's me at 13 years old. Right. Obviously I can't do it myself, but I was going to figure it out. Right. And he was like, you know what, you want to do this? And I said, yeah. He's like, there's no going back. Like once you start and then that's it. You're not going to quit. I'm not going to let you, like, you know, once we invest time in this is what we're going to do. And I said, let's do that. And ever since then, I never looked back.
Right. That's dope, man. So, you know, you didn't have the longest amateur career, correct?
I mean, I was amateur from 13 to 19 years old. So I had like 80 plus amateur fights.
Yeah, no, you put that work in. And at what point did you realize, like, you know what, I'm about to be pro. I'm going to turn pro with this.
All my amateur fights, I've noticed that I had a pro style. The judge used to tell me, like, your style is very pro, and the amateurs is more fast paced, just letting your hands go. It doesn't. You can hit elbows, you can hit arms, and then points count. I'm very strategic. I'm very smart in the ring, I think. And they don't like that in the amateurs. They just like you just throwing and throwing and throwing. Also, there's the point system. You know what I'm saying? So, as to where in the pros is more about connecting, ring generalship. You know, being patient, picking your shots. It's not just throwing random shots. So in the amateurs, they used to always tell me, yo, turn pro. Until when I was 19, I was fighting at 140, 147, and I ended up beating people. Right. And once I started beating people,
all good.
Yeah, my dog started barking.
It's all good.
And I started beating people, and the judges were like, yo, just go pro. Until me and my father looked at it and started sparring a bunch of pros. I sparred Devin Haney before I went pro. I sparred Richard Comey. I sparred Duke Mecca. And then I was like, yo, I could really be in here with these guys. And my father was like, yo, let's turn pro. We turned pro, and it just kept going from there.
Right. So, you know, and again, man, I appreciate the answers, man, because you just lead me, right? You're making it easy. You lead me to my next question. So I would assume, because I was going to ask that, you had a more of a pro-ready style. So what was your transition like from the amateur to the pro? It
really wasn't hard. It really wasn't hard. I just I kept doing what I was doing. But I just started slowing things down, started actually working on my craft, focusing on the fundamentals, because that's mainly what I like focus on. I'm in the gym. I'm just working on all my fundamentals because that's going to take you far in this sport. The jab, bringing your hands back, make sure your feet move together, move as one. You know what I'm saying? Right. So balance, stuff like that. So I really just focused on my fundamentals, focused on my defense, and just slowed down, picking my shots. I worked on punch placement, stuff like that. Everything was the same, honestly. I just went right into it. It just worked with me.
Right. Sound like you was right at home, bro. Right at home. And the reason I asked that, because a lot of guys, they might be top world-class amateurs, and their transition from the amateur game to the pro, you could see it. It usually takes a while.
Yeah.
With you, like you said, you was right at home, right from the jump.
Exactly.
So, man.
And that's something I never understood, too, about these promoters. Like, they're quick to sign, let's say, an Olympian, a 2-time gold medalist or whatever, or one gold medalist or whatever. and then he goes into pro, loses his first professional fight, second professional fight, and it's like, yo, I don't understand. Like you're quick to sign him, but then you see a guy who can actually, who's made tailor made for the pros and not the amateurs, who just maybe didn't have the backing in the amateurs. You know, sometimes in the amateurs, just to go to nationals, you need people to have money and do that. You know what I'm saying? You need money, you need a team or somebody that can put you in a position to do those things. Same thing as the pros. So some people don't have that. And when you turn pro, a lot of people have a harder time making their way because of those reasons as to where they just get signed off backing and then they lose. So I never understood that, but it is what it is.
And I understand that completely. I've talked to a number of fighters and they echo the same sentiments when it comes to the amateur game. Some people just have that backing. You know, I talked to Tito Mercado, if you're familiar with him. And
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he had a similar story about, you know, the amateur ranks and how certain guys just had that push behind them, and the ones that don't sometimes get overlooked. That could have been, you know, similar to your situation. Not saying you overlooked, but, you know, you betting on yourself at this point is you and your dad, and every win that you gain is important from this point out. It's another showcase for you, an opportunity for people to see that they might have missed one. So speaking of turning pro, right? I noticed you turned pro in 2019.
Yeah.
You know, what was the I would say your biggest takeaway from preparing for an amateur fight versus a professional fight where you actually got, you know, weeks, a month or two to train for one guy?
The biggest takeaway was that, you know, I just had to change. I worked a lot harder. I was around other pros and I seen what it took to be a pro. And I see that the amateurs, you know, you have headgear on. The headgear gives you, like, what is it, false confidence, because when you hit a guy, they really don't feel it through a headgear. So that transition, I feel like, was probably the more, like, difficult part. Just understanding, like, okay, this is the amateurs. You can take different risks, but over here is like you got to take smart, calculated risks. So I would say that was the biggest difference there about from amateurs to pros.
Right. So you know, and you made your pro debut, right? And you started out hot. You know, you started out 3 straight KOs. And I noticed in your 4th round, first 6 rounder, if I'm not mistaken, you finally went the distance. You had somebody test you enough to take you the distance. What was that experience like when you was finally able to get the rounds in?
What's funny was that that was when COVID happened. That's when COVID first started.
Right. I noticed.
Everything there was what was it called? They called it the bubble. I fought on Telemundo against some dude from Puerto Rico, but I went into that fight with a messed up hand. I didn't say anything. I wanted to fight because at the end of the day, like, I wanted to stay active. I was already hot off the 3-0 streak of 3 knockouts. So I'm like, yo, I got another opportunity. Top Rank was telling me I beat this dude. You know, they'll sign me or whatever. Or they're looking at me after that fight. So I was like, yo, I got to take this opportunity. I took it with the messed up hand and ended up hurting it and breaking it the 3rd round of that fight, which made the fight even more difficult. But I still pulled through. I still persevered. I still won. But that was a good experience there. That way I know that, listen, even if I had a broken hand, I know I could fight through that. So, yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about that, man, because we see all types of hand injuries and stuff like that in this sport. Like, more recently, we seen Shakur hurt his hand in sparring, right? You know, doing some work. Like, what was that like? Like, far as the challenge when you like, man, I'm down the hand. You come into the fight with an injury and you break it. What was that like?
It was hard, bro. Honestly, like, I think it's more mental than anything, but the pain. You know, your hand numbs. Like, it's different if you go into the fight with a hurt hand and then break it, or in Shakur's case, his hand was already messed up before even going into the fight. He was supposed to get surgery. So that's hard, bro. Like, just knowing, like, yo, this is, and then what was this? His jab, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was his left hand. Excuse me. For me, it was my jab because he's a southpaw orthodox. But and it was difficult because it's like I'm handicapped. Like, I'm a guy that I set up shots with my jab sometimes. I'm like, I dominate fights just with my jab alone. I have a very good jab. So that just changed up the game. And it's like the guy was willing to just walk forward because he has nothing to stop him. It was a little different. But like I said, boxing's all about adjustments, bro. If you're not able to adjust in the ring, you don't belong in there, bro. So at the high level, there's going to be guys going to be able to, whether your hand might not be broken. None of your hands might be broken, but he might take away your left hand because he knows how to, you know, just take that from you. There's fighters out there that just, like, they'll take away your jab or your best attribute, and then you have to adjust. So that was just like that case. So think of it that way. I had my hand was taken away. I just had to adjust. And that's that. As long as we win, that's really what matters, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The win is what matters.
Absolutely. And, you know, I asked about the injuries because a lot of times us from our seat, you know, we hear guys get injured. Like, he ain't hurt. We question it so much. I wanted to ask you as a fighter, because you do this, how often is that when guys go in there already like with some, injury, pre-existing injury, and you still decide to go in the fight and tough it out? How often do you think that take place?
Probably very often, bro. Me, I've always had hand issues since I was in the amateurs. I used to always I used to try to punch people up. Like I wouldn't even in the beginning of the amateur. I remember I used to fight at higher weights. Like I wouldn't really take it so serious, and I was just coming beating people. Like I never really trained the way I do now. I'm probably one of the hardest workers anybody's ever seen. If you see me in the gym, I'm always in the gym.
Right.
7 days a week if I could be. And that was what the injuries were. I never knew how to rest. I never knew how to just chill. You know what I'm saying? And if you notice now, look, ever since then, even after that fight, I never even got a cast. I had a cast and I took it off to fight again. If you see my hand here, look at this knuckle. It's lined up perfectly. This one's like a big slope.
It's flat, right?
Yeah, so that's how that was. My hands is fine now, though. I don't have any issues now.
Right. So y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? 130. His hands is straight, man. They still
my hands
work.
is straight. I mean, they know that. They was getting punched up on jabs for a couple fights, so it don't even matter.
Right.
But so it's difficult. That's extremely difficult. That's a hard thing to do. Fight with whether you're handicapped or not. Whether it's one hand, one arm, it don't matter, bro. That's hard, bro. It's an adjustment you have to make mentally, but also physically, because the pain, you have to try to figure out how to block it out, and then you have to adjust during the fight on how can I win, because that's the ultimate goal. Don't matter if the fight's hard or not, you have to win. And that's probably the hardest thing, bro.
And you showed a lot of metal and heart, because I mean, like I said, you've seen a number of guys hurt their hands. You've seen it with Floyd. He took a knee, and that was his only official knockdown. He had to take a knee. And for you,
a couple of my fights actually had a lot of issues. That fight, there was one issue. There was another fight that I think was my 8th fight, if I'm not mistaken. I flew to Costa Rica. I fought on the first ever world title event live on the Zone in Golden Boy. I went over there. That's when COVID was getting almost over. When I flew over there, I had COVID. But in a foreign country, it is what it is. They don't care. It's I remember when they came to the back room, it's it's either you fight or they can give you the loss. It don't matter. Over here.
Without even fighting?
I remember that,
Wow.
So I told my father, I remember he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, listen, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose fair. He going to beat me. So I ended up going out there fighting with COVID. I remember that. It was 10,000 people in attendance of Costa Ricans only. It was me and my pops in another country, live on the Zone on Golden Boy. People didn't know. To this day, I never even told anybody because I don't care. When I was in there, I made an adjustment and I won the fight. What was it? I think and honestly speaking, if you look at the scorecards and you look at the because from the U.S., nobody else won from the U.S. but me and some other dude. But nobody else won. So there was a lot of stuff going on over there, and I ended up persevering through that. It was maybe I wasn't handicapped through this, but I was sick. You know what I'm saying? You know what it feels like to get COVID. I caught that shit 4 or 5 times, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously. But that was probably the worst I've caught it because I actually had the fever and everything. And over there, I didn't know that you can't drink their water. There's salt water. I didn't know things like that over there.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking their water. I'm doing things that that I didn't know I couldn't do. And that made it even worse. So I went in there, I fought, I dominated, and the scorecards just said something about I landed 54% of my shots, and he landed 17%, and apparently that's a split decision. So I'm like, okay, whatever the case, that makes no sense, bro. But
none whatsoever.
It is what it is. Listen, all I'm saying is if you're in a foreign country and you win a fight, it's because you won. Because if if you're fighting guys from that country, they're gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? So simple as that. But that was one fight, and then my last fight, just like you was earlier, you were saying I was working with my pops. My last fight was my first fight without my pops. Me and him don't work together no more. So that was another thing. I had a car accident a week before the fight, for that top rank fight, the last one. And I still went into the fight with my back, a little bit messed up. I wasn't able to let go of the right hand the way I wanted to.
Oh, I know about back pain, injuries.
Yeah, that ain't no joke. Yeah, so but I actually had a Camaro, and my Camaro was totaled after that.
Wow.
The guy going 80 miles per hour. I was on a New Jersey turnpike, and the dude just slammed into
in my area.
Bro, it was horrible, bro. And I went into the fight anyways. I still fought. I still won. Unanimous. I made it easy with the jab, but I wasn't able to let go of my right hand.
Right.
But like I said earlier, just like we was talking about earlier, adjustments, bro. Not allowing those things. This game is all mental. So as long as you believe you could do something, you'll be able to do it. But as soon as you doubt yourself, that doubt's gonna take over, bro. So
You're exactly right. I think confidence is a big part of it.
Confidence is it, bro. I truly believe that I can fight through anything, bro. I could be sick. I could have a broken hand. You give me one leg, I'm gonna figure it out, bro. Seriously,
and this
bro.
is why we gotta support him.
Yeah, bro.
This is exactly why. So having all that being said, right? You dealt with a number of different injuries. What would you say was the biggest thing you learned about yourself getting through each of those fights?
The biggest thing I learned about myself in those injuries that, like I said a second ago, that I can overcome anything, bro. Whether it's in and out the ring, you know what I'm saying? I might be like, besides the car accident, that was also my first ever fight working without my father. Me and him had been working since the amateurs. All my professional fights up to number 11. He was in that corner. And that fight was like a fight that he wasn't. So that was like something I had to adjust to.
Right.
Meanwhile, I had the injury. So it was a big change. But it showed me that, listen, man, there's nothing that could stop me. Honestly, like I don't see anything but God that's telling me, yo, you can't do anything. You can't fight, or you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm the type of dude that I go through it, whether my mind is telling me not to or not. So that just showed me, listen, I'm ready, bro. If I get over there and I ever get cut, God forbid, of course, but I ever get cut, I can persevere through that. I'll figure it out. I can adjust, bro.
Wow. So you had to do it without Pops for the first time.
Exactly.
The fight. So talk to me a little bit about that. How important is it that have chemistry with the guy that's training you, and you got used to a certain voice with your father? Like I imagine that had to be a challenge in and of itself to go from Pops being there to a new trainer, new coach.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a big challenge. But just the years of me and him training together, and all the years of preparations and stuff, like I knew what to do. Like that voice would always be there, regardless whether he's actually in the corner or not. So I mean, and I learned that fight. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I'm like, all right, let me make this small adjustment. While the man's talking to me, all right, we could do this, we could do that. And I'm still listening. Like, all right, I know I have to. The fundamentals are there. He's always telling me, keep your hands up, focus on your defense. Don't worry about stay calm, stuff like that. Stay relaxed. All those things, they stick with you. Right. So I mean, it's all about adjusting, bro. Like this whole sport is all mental. Like everything is just.
Right. I was just about to say that you seem mentally tough. The way
bro, I'm extremely mentally tough, bro.
And it's not like you thinking of something to say. Like, I can tell that's just how you move. That's your mentality. You strong.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, it was a very big change. Besides, all the accidents and everything's been happening. That's also why I've been a little bit inactive too. Right. After that fight, I decided let me take some time off. After that fight, actually, after that car accident, I got another car, and then two weeks later, a guy reversed into me on the highway on the side of my car. My car spun. So that was 2 car accidents back to back. I was like, you know what? Let me end the year like this. Let me relax.
Right.
And let me get everything together. This year, I'm trying to make a bang. I'm trying to end 15-0. Whatever the case may be. Let's see what happens from there. But bro, I'm mentally tough, bro. Man, honestly, I don't think nothing can break me.
I can hear it, bro. I love it. I love it. So now, man, you sitting at 12-0, 6 KOs, man. And like you said, this was just this past year that was tough for you, 2024. Right. Yeah. So I know you looking to get back in there. And what's your ideal 2025 for you?
I'm trying to end the year 15-0. 15, 16-0. But the thing about me is, bro, I don't like fighting on small club shows. No disrespect to anybody that does or that fights on those things. Those are the shows that make you. So I'm not saying I don't like fighting there because they're small shows. I just truly believe that I belong on a big stage. When I'm in MSG, I fill it up. If you've seen one of my fights or if you've been there, you see that from the front row to the back row standing every time I'm in there.
Right.
So I love the energy. I love being in front of people. I love the pressure. I feel like when there's nobody there, I don't feel like, how you say it, like,
it's something missing.
Something's missing, and it's the eyes, it's the people. Whether you want to see me win or lose, is his people, is my people. I like that energy. You know what I'm saying? And that makes me turn up. So I love being in front of the crowd. They say pressure makes diamonds. I truly believe in that, but I don't see it as pressure. I love the nerves. I don't get nervous when it's small crowds or just a regular club show. I don't get nervous in those situations. You know what I'm saying? I love feeling nervous. Those are feelings that like I learned how to overcome. So now I ended up not liking them to liking them now. I'm okay with them. I embrace them. That's my ideal goal. I want to be on the big stage, bro. Whether it's MSG again or just another big stage, Vegas, whatever the case may be. I want to be on Top Rank, The Zone, those big stages, bro. I belong there.
I agree, bro. I agree. And again with that,
but my ultimate goal is just to be more active, though. Just more activity.
More activity.
Yeah, more activity.
Man, you gonna get this 2025, like you said, man. Let's speak it into existence. You gonna end the year off with what, 15-0? You said
15-0 has to go right now. If I can get 16, I don't care whatever it is, but 15-0 is my goal.
So you need at least 3. You want at least 3 fights this year.
My last 2 years, I haven't fought more than twice. So 3 times is like, all right, I'm moving up. At least I fought one more extra time this year. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how I see it.
Is it? You sitting at 130 right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So you got some talent up there, man. You got some good champions, man.
Hey.
I know it's early, and I know, you know, some guys, they don't have a hit list. You just knocking down whoever in your way. Is it anybody that you particularly would like to share the ring with in your weight class? Is there anybody that you see that you like, yo, I'm gonna run into him sooner or later? I know I am.
That's funny that you asked that. I don't have, like I said a second ago, I don't have like a hit list. But if you ask me who I would like to share the ring with, who I think I can beat, is Oscar Valdez. If you watch multiple of interviews that I've been doing recently, I've always mentioned him. Not because I 100% respect the man. He was a champion. That guy's an amazing fighter. I just truly believe that at a certain point, when it's time and I get there and I get my 10 rounders, 12 rounders, that's a guy that I'm able to beat because of my talents and abilities that I do have. So, yeah, that's probably him. I wouldn't say he's on my hit list, but I say that if he stays around long enough, we are going to run into each other. So,
gonna fight him.
But as far as hit list, bro, whoever's in front of me, it don't matter, honestly speaking. Like, I truly believe in whoever's going to be there at that time, he will be there at the right time for me. And that's the guy that's going to lose. So, simple, whoever it is.
And I see somebody ask, shout out to the fam. I see somebody ask about moving up in weight. I mean, what's your thoughts about that? How comfortable are you where you at? Or what's your set goals before you even think about moving? Because I know it's something
I'm trying to win at least a belt, bro. Honestly, my goal wasn't even to win a belt. My ultimate goal is just to put my family in a better situation. That's like always been my goal. That's the reason. That's what drives me in boxing, just to in a better situation. You know what I'm saying? Right. Generational wealth. That's like the ultimate goal. But
for sure.
But then it turned into, from that to me seeing the talents that I have, sharing the ring with these world champions. It's like, yo, now I want to be a world champion because, like, I see what it did to him. I see how it changed his life. I see that, you know, those goals that I want to reach is going to be through that. And I know when I get that, more money comes, more eyes come, more, like I said earlier, I like the attention. More attention comes. I'll be in a bigger crowds. I feel like, you know, so that's the route I want to take.
Yeah, you made
my favorite belt is the WBC belt.
I
love green, brother. The green belt. Yeah, facts. That's my favorite
love
belt.
That green belt, man.
Hell yeah. I actually have a WBA belt in here somewhere.
Right. Well, speaking of green belt, you know, it's only right that I asked because, you know, there's a certain somebody that's from my neck of the woods that's holding on to one of them green belts at a higher weight class. But the reason I'm asking you about him because I seen you recently take a picture, so I figured I got some work in you and Core. Listen, man. Like you said, you ready to continue to move and put yourself in those positions to be a part of those bigger fights. So what is it like with you being 12-0 in the game and being able to work with, you know, a 3-division champion? Not everybody is gonna get called into camp or even make the connection. How did that come about with y'all two?
So first off, to answer your first question, bro, it's like, listen, Spawn Shakur. And I don't sugarcoat nothing, bro. I'm going to tell you straight up how it is. I've always been that way. Shakur's distance, super dominant. He's a great person outside the ring, and inside the ring, he's super, super technical and technically sound, bro. Right. Spawn him is always a chess match, and he has different gears, bro. So it showed me that what the level that it takes to compete at that level of a world champion, and it showed me that that I could be there. You know what I'm saying? That I know eventually when the time comes, when I'm fighting those 10-round fights, those 12-round fights, then I'm going to be ready for those type of things. And also just sharing the rings with guys like him. Share the ring with him, Devin Haney, Richardson Hitchens, Richard Comey. All those guys are world champions, bro. So just knowing that I was in there with them multiple times for multiple rounds, it was just like, yo, bro. Like, it just brings up your belief even more and more and more. Right. And even when those guys even tell you, like, yo, you got talent, bro. You got good IQ or you nice. It just it brings you up. Spawn Shakur was amazing, bro. Like, it elevated me from point A to where I was even more. So shout out to him. And the way it came about was the person on the team named Coach Ron is a good friend of another friend of mine, and he's just been taking a good look at me for a while. A guy named Smoke. I think you know Smoke. My guy Smoke been talking about me a lot, and Coach Ron been looking at me. Then I met Coach Ron at one of Shakur fights. And then ever since then, we never really spoke too much, but we always liking each other's posts and stuff. One day he hit me up like, yo, you want to come spar Shakur? I said, hell yeah, absolutely. He's looking for a spawn partner for Floyd Schofield. Right. I knew in my head, I was like, me and Floyd Schofield don't fight alike too much. I am explosive. I am fast. But I feel like I'm more like technically I'm a thinker. I have better defense. Like I like to keep distance. I'm a different fighter compared to him, but I was gonna jump on the opportunity regardless, just so I could be in there in front of a champion. Once again, so who doesn't want to be in front of Shakur? Like if I can get in front of Lomachenko, I'll get in front of him too.
Oh, see, y'all hear that, man?
Yeah, facts. So yeah, that's how that came about. I jumped on opportunity, he flew me out. We sparred like 4 times over there.
Oh, that's
18
dope.
or more rounds.
That's dope. That's valuable.
Amazing, bro.
I mean,
That's
priceless.
valuable rounds, bro. Facts.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to him once again, bro.
Right. So real quick, not to stay on court too long, but I like to hear, you got the fans and the people got their perception of fighters, and that's okay because we all have an opinion. But I just like to ask guys that actually put in the work and do that shit. Like, what is it? What is it about him that makes him special? You would say, in your opinion,
bro. It's his fundamentals, bro. His mind, his distance, his ring control. Like he knows, and I understand it because I'm that type of fighter as well. Absolutely. But it's different from a southpaw perspective. He knows the little inches in the ring that you can hit him, and I mean that he can hit you and you can't hit him, and that's very, very important in boxing. People don't really study those type of things in footwork. They think footwork is moving around, having all these fancy movements, bro. It's the little movements that matters, and he understands those little movements, bro.
Right.
But he has a lot of everything, bro. Like he's a good counter puncher. He has great timing. He has great his distance is like amazing. His mind.
Right.
His mind.
I said the first thing I pointed to. That's what I noticed as a fight.
His mind, bro. Like he thinks in there, and if you don't know how to think, he's gonna beat the shit out you. So it's simple as that, bro. Yeah, word.
Right. And that's dope, man. It's refreshing to hear, fighters, give other fighters their just due. And you've been able to learn, like you said, it's priceless what you've been able to learn. But Corey ain't the only guy you got some smoke with, because I do homework. I've been watching for a couple years now, a few years actually.
Appreciate you.
You spar Hitchens as well. You work with Hitchens. And what was that like? That's one of the more talented guys in boxing as well. And
bro, another thing, bro. I helped him when he was supposed to fight Montana Love. That fight got canceled. I helped him for the entire camp because I'm a switcher. I fight southpaw as well. I sparred him southpaw for the entire fight of what's his name, Jose Cepeda. Yeah, bro. Another guy who's technically sound, bro. Him and Shakur shared the ring together a lot too. So like I said, like it elevates you sharing the ring with both of those guys. Hitchens is freaking. His jab is super dominant. His ring IQ's there, bro. And again, another man who just abuses the fundamentals, bro. Like I be trying to tell people all the time.
You said abuse the fundamentals?
Abuses the fundamentals, bro.
Like
he uses the jab to set everything up. He makes you think a little feints here and there. His footwork. He knows when to stand and bang with you. He knows when to move. He has good distance, good ring IQ. Another man that's just he makes you think, and if you can't think, he's gonna beat you up, bro. Another guy, bro. Like I'd rather spar guys like that than a guy like let's say, who's a good example? Like Pitbull. Like you learn nothing from anybody can bang, bro. If you have a heart, I can bang with anybody, bro. I'll stand there with whoever, whether you can punch or not. So it's all about up here, bro. And I feel like if you could think and you have a mind at boxing, you could beat anybody, bro.
Right, man. I agree. And you see, I think you having access to these guys, and not just having the access, actually utilizing it, right? Utilizing these relationships to sharpen your tools, and it seemed like that's what you want. You chasing the elite level talent, sharpening your skills so you can then, when it's time for you to get in the ring, this shit, put all the work in the gym. Y'all say the fights are easier.
I got nothing to worry about. I'm in there. I was like, yeah, bro, I was just in there with Shakur. I was just in there with Hitchens. I was just in there with Devin Haney. Why am I worried about you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so talk to me about that. So you said Devin Haney as well, and another world-class fighter. Like you've been in there with some real talent.
Yeah.
Overall, like what does that do for Ofacio?
Like I said, bro, being in there with all those different types of fighters, they all have their own. They're all great at something. You know what I'm saying? If not a lot of things, and you pick up on those things. You start taking something from him, taking and just forming it into you. But ultimately, it's like a super boost of confidence, bro. Like, yo, I was in there with this guy for X amount of rounds, and he kept me. I was in there for this guy for X amount of rounds, and he kept me. And it's like, all right, you belong in there with these people, whether they're all in higher weights from you or not. It's just the confidence level, bro. And in this sport too, like I said, it's a lot mental. So your confidence is a very big part of your mental. If you're not confident in shooting a gun, if you're not confident in shooting the ball in basketball, if you ain't confident in your jab, you won't use it. Confidence is the key to this sport. Like I met a lot of guys that are super talented, have no confidence, and guys that are suck but just have confidence and believe that they can take whatever comes at them, and that guy will win. Just off his confidence and self-belief. So confidence, bro, that just brought me from here to there, and I just made me believe in what I already had, and I already knew I had. Just made me believe it even more, and now I'm able to do it even better. You know what I'm saying? And at that level, with the little things that I took from each of them.
I love to hear that, man. You sound like a sponge, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you sound like a
that's
sponge.
the reason why I love being in there, bro.
Right? You chasing the opportunities, and I mean that in a good way. Like, you chasing the challenges. You're not shying away from it. You want to be in there with these world-class guys. I think that shit is gonna work. You know,
people like, you know how people always want to spar like everybody in their weight class. Everybody wants to spar what is the top people in their weight class. Me, I'm not really a big fan of that. I'm the type of dude that I want to spar the best. Like, if this guy is considered one of the best fighters in the world, like for example, Shakur Stevenson in my eyes is one of the best fighters in the world.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be in there and ring with him because that's gonna show me if I can compete with one of the best fighters in the world, or if I can, or what can I learn to be one of the best fighters in the world. Because I'm trying to be there. I want to be considered one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like being there with him. For sparring anybody in my weight class on the top of, let's say the number one in the weight class, and if I think he's not as good as this guy, I'm like, yo, bro, I'm not really a big fan of that. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that want to spar you just to get to know you. Me, I really don't care. I'm the type of dude that I get in there and I adjust. I'm not even thinking about you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'd rather spar the best at what who's if he's an orthodox, if he's the same height as you, I'd rather spar the best at that. And I know this guy ain't gonna be an issue because I can beat this type of style. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now that stuff right there, that mentality, like I said, way when we started, your mental is strong and intact. And I think you being able to be a part of these different camps, and you know, they're not just calling you in. You get what I'm saying? To beat up on you there for a reason. And I know that does wonders for you. Like, you're there for a reason. You a world-class fighter at the world-class fighter. You're talking about a 3-division champion in Shakur, Richardson Hitchens, a newly crowned champion. You got Devin Haney, was an undisputed champion. That's a wealth of experience that I just think you can't put a price tag on that. And
you can't, bro.
That's why we building, and what y'all watching is a future world champion. And y'all know we speak this into existence over here. I ain't gonna say it if I don't believe it. Definitely see you being a future world champion. So
appreciate you, bro.
And excellent. I appreciate your time. But before I let you go, man, I want to ask you, man, about this year, man. When do you think you're gonna be back in the ring?
My manager, I just spoke to my manager actually this morning, and he's telling me in March. So
March.
They talk about in March. I might be fighting MSG once again. He told me that it's for sure, but let him get the final confirmation. So I'm hoping that happens again. If they do, call me Mr. MSG because this is my 4th time back at MSG once again.
And y'all heard her call him Mr. MSG, man. And I listen, I hope you do get it. I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean,
I don't see why I wouldn't either, bro.
Right. So MSG, you saying March, you don't want to confirm yet. So do me a favor. When you do get some confirmation, don't be a stranger, bro. Whenever you have a minute or news that you want to discuss, here's a safe place for you to come and build. And I just wanted to make sure I, highlighted Ofacio Falcon, let the people know who you are and how to follow you.
I appreciate you, bro. Listen, my Instagram is, you can follow me on all platforms at Ofacio Falcon Jr. That's Ofacio Falcon, like the bird Jr. And I appreciate you, bro, for your time. Thank you.
Man, always, bro. Look, stay grinding, stay sharp, man. Keep your mental intact. Keep working with these world-class fighters. People are taking a liking to you. They watching. And over here, we genuinely support boxing. So I just wanted to make sure.
I appreciate you. And I support you as well, bro. Shout out to you
bro.
for the opportunity, bro. Thank you.
Always, man. Stay in touch. And listen, we're going to be watching. We're going to be supporting.
Hell yeah, for sure, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you. I'll be with you shortly, man. We'll be watching you. March will be here in no time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
No doubt. Peace, bro.
Later. Peace.
Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I appreciate you coming up, man, build with me, man, the champ. Just wanted to highlight a few things about Ofacio. If y'all didn't already check him out as a fighter, if y'all know who he is, man, y'all know after today. 12-0, like I said, 6 KOs. He had 130. 130 got a lot of talent up at the top. But I definitely think as far as the guys that's not champions, that's still working themselves in that contender space, that's one of the guys to keep an eye on. Very technically sound, sharp fighter. If you just pay attention to some of the work that he's got, from the Devin Haney's, the Richardson Hitchens, the Shakur Stevenson. Shakur got a big fight coming up. Whether the opponent's name is big or not, it's a big fight for him. Everybody eyes on him coming back off an injury. different things like that. For him to, you know, link up with Ofacio and work with him, that speaks volumes about the kind of fighter that he is. So you notice that, you know, a lot of these fighters that he spoke on are champions at this point. You give him or was a champion, and Devin Haney, very accomplished fighters, put in a lot of good work, man. So I got a chance to meet him at Shakur's last fight, man. Good kid. You see, very articulate, man. He just made this build easy for me, man. I support him. I salute him, man. I appreciate his time, man. Shout out to everybody that came through, man. We started a little bit early because he was like, you want to do it now? And I said, why not, man? Shout out to All Things, Rude Exposure, my guy, Mark Kirkland. Appreciate you, man. Yo, what it do? Kind of Loco, Ace, Crush the Legend, my guy. What's good with it? TD Sports Talk. What's good, bro? Bronx is in the building. Blunt Sports, what it do? Featherweight Ofacio definitely got potential to be world champion. Yeah, fundamentals and understanding boxing is improving each fight. I'm seeing that with him too. Skills, my brother. What's good with it? So you knew he was gonna say Valdez. Kyle Cooley, what's good? Family the Butcher, what's good? How y'all feeling, man? Yeah, sparring partners matter, man. Shout out to you, Blunt Sports. James Anderson in the building. Autism boy, what's good, family? How you feeling? Shout out to y'all, man. I just wanted to bring y'all some, you know, a nice little build with the fighter, man. And you know, I'm gonna definitely stay in touch with him. I got his number, so he made this easy. I felt like it was a good time to reach out. The start of the new year, seeing him getting work in with a number of different fighters, I felt like was, you know, worth mentioning and talking about. So All Things, my guy, appreciate you, man. So shout out to y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button if y'all haven't. I don't know. Who knows? It's early. We might come back. We might come back with something else, but I don't want to hold y'all too long. I just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to hear this interview. You know, make sure y'all share it, man. Let people know, man, Jusdue's putting in the work again, as I always am, as we always are. Lee Jackson, what it do? But I appreciate everybody, man. Y'all make sure y'all continue to enjoy the rest of the Saturday. I think Carolyn Dubois might be on if she ain't win already, you know, but we're going to go tune into that. Appreciate you, TD, man. Much love to everybody. So you beat me to the interview. Then and you know, it's crazy because shout out to TD Sports Talk, too, because he the one that made that possible. He made sure, like, while we was in between fights, that we was going back, meeting the fighters and stuff like that. So that's thanks to him. And he made that connection. And you see how long I waited, right? I waited. I'm like, I'm going to hit him. Popped up. He made it happen. So Ofacio, Falcon, shout out to you. Appreciate you. And everybody in the chat, man, I appreciate all y'all. Like I said, enjoy the rest of the Saturday. Go watch y'all some boxing, eat y'all some good food. We're going to keep building. The work never stops. Yeah, I'm going to go in and tune into it now, too. So, again, appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. We'll be back. We'll be back with another one. Y'all already know. Peace to the fan. Love.
Yo, you know the deal. We back again. We never slacking. Word 'em up. Ladies and guys, whether if you drunk or you high, it's time to pay respects to the illest man alive. If you think you got a point, he'll shrink you down to size. And from there it's downhill like a slinky or a slide. Open your eyes, got a deep connection with the rise, so you might see them jump in whenever they go live. Peep it, this channel blowing up now, it's not a secret. With tons of exclusive interviews to listen to. Them other channels I hate, but yo, they missing clues. They start narratives, sip the goose and twist the truth. It don't take a rocket scientist to get the proof. Just click the live at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But when you chime in, make sure you keep it kind. But if cowards want to debate, then it's feasting time. My man Jusdue shine busy all the time. Grind 24/7, 365. Videos he might have 365. My rhyme's sick, they make you do a 365. You get a rich if you think you fit to survive. It's Jusdueboxing, time to click the live. Ain't no beginners, if you soft, you ain't down to ride. I crush you, respect too, it's Jusdue. He got the illest boxing show on the internet. The boy been a threat and he ain't even had dinner yet. Word 'em up. Yeah. You know what time it is. $4 p.m. Eastern. Click the link.
In the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to Jusdueboxing, the best boxing talk on YouTube. Jusdue Boxing in the building, 4 o'clock shorty, man. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. He's going to be live today at 4 o'clock, man. And he's going to be spewing some good stuff as he always do with an unbiased approach, man. He's probably the most unbiased channel on YouTube.
What's going on? And one of my favorite channels, if y'all into that pugilistic perfection, if y'all into that boxing, that's that boy Jusdueboxing here on YouTube. Make sure y'all check out Jusdueboxing, the only unbiased boxing channel